Welcome to another edition of the Young People's Report. I'm Shane Stikeleather.
And I'm Jessica Taylor. Today on YPR, we'll go shopping for some ski equipment and we'll visit some kids who are getting a taste of what it was like back in the days of King Arthur.
We'll also visit a local place where making the news is just another day in the job. But first, we are here at NHL Skate in Birch Run, where you can enjoy winter fun all year long. But the winter is home to many other sports. Andrew Grefe found one, and he filed this report.
This is Mount Holly, one of the best places in mid-Michigan for snowboarding and skiing. And yes, it's more expensive than sledding.
I like skiing because it's funner and there's more slopes and the slopes are bigger.
And for the price of a good meal, you can spend a day on the slopes.
I like going down the hills and just having fun.
Almost anyone can learn to ski. Like at most places, here at Mount Holly, they give lessons to kids of all ages. Most people start on the easy slopes, like these, and work their way up. Skiing the harder slopes means taking a ski lift to the top, and the Mach 1 is one of the best.
Whew, this is pretty fast.
It will get you to the start of an almost 1,600-foot run in about a minute and a half. From there, you can go down one of 16 runs.
Of course, Mount Holly isn't just for skiing. All 18 trails are also open for snowboarding.
Well, I skied when I was little, but I like snowboarding. I think it's more fun. Like when we hit jumps and do more tricks and stuff.
It's more fun and exhilarating. You don't have to worry about getting hurt as much as you do in skiing, and it's just funner.
I used to ski, but snowboarding has more fun, do more tricks, more jumps.
I've been falling all over the place, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. I can almost stop, I can almost turn.
Harder tricks cause more harder falls if you mess up.
There's skiers, they want a new experience on the snow, and then there's other people like skateboarders who would never consider skiing, but they'll come out and try snowboarding because they've seen it on TV or in a skateboard magazine.
Since it's so popular, I decided to try snowboarding, and I asked around about what I needed to know.
You should know how to carve. That's the main thing. If you know how to carve, then you got it.
And what exactly does that mean?
Carve, you just gotta lean into it. But at the beginning, you just have to put your arms out and lean into it and just start.
That sounded too easy, and I asked Mark Bondarenko from the Mount Holly Ski School to give me a few tips.
We're all set for the first part.
Okay.
Now, stand up.
The first part was just getting around with only one foot attached to the board. I felt pretty good about that. Some kids never take their back foot out, and that can look pretty weird trying to get back to the tow rope.
People tend to learn snowboarding quite a bit faster than they do skiing. The first few days may be kind of rough, the first 3 or 4 days, but after that you learn very fast.
Try this one more time.
Getting started was easy, but learning to turn was a lot harder. Mark said that once you get the basics, the rest is easier to learn than skiing, but I was still learning to turn. Mark said a lot of people have the same problem. If they dig their toes in, they fall forward, and if they dig their heels in, they fall backward. I found that even standing up can be hard.
Compared to skiing, snowboarding is a lot more fun. It's also a lot harder. From the slopes of Mount Holly, I'm Andrew Grefe, reporting for YPR.
Skiing and snowboarding are great exercise and tons of fun, but only if you have the right equipment. Sam Howell did some shopping and filed this report.
When the snow starts flying, some people go sledding, others go snowmobiling, but for some, skiing is the only way to go. Here at the Bint Ski Shop, we dropped in to find out some pointers on the many options available.
Right now we have 2 different types of skis. We have the conventional, traditional straight ski. The other kind of ski we have, which is about 3 years in the making, is a shape ski. I think the beginning skier will appreciate a shape ski because it's easier to ski because it's shorter. That's the most difficulty for a beginning skier, is the feeling of that great big thing on their foot is too long. Let's size you up into a ski. Our rule of thumb now for shape skis is a beginner is down here around the chin, an advanced skier is up around the top of the head. It also has to do with the skier's weight. If the skier's quite heavy, tall, we're up towards the top. If the skier's light, small, a young lady, or whatever, we're down towards the chin. Why the ski boot is the most important part of your equipment is that the ski boot is an extension of your foot, and your foot's telling your ski to do something, and it's telling you to do something through your boot, that you want to turn left, turn right, whatever.
If you're not into skiing or looking for something new, snowboarding might be just the thing you're looking for.
Snowboarding's gained popularity over the last, 7-8 years. It's more of surfing's cousin than skiing. A lot of the younger guys that skateboard quite a bit are now moving towards snowboarding because they can do that in the wintertime, and it's a lot like riding a skateboard. There's basically two different styles of snowboards right now. There's freestyle and free ride. A free ride board has what's called a directional flex, so it'll be stiffer in the tail of the board than in the tip, which helps you make nice round turns when you're on steeper hills at higher speeds. A freestyle board has the same flex throughout the board, so it's a balanced flex, and so that if you ride, when you take a jump or do a trick, and you can land forward and backwards, the board will react the same.
With a little snow and some good ski equipment, anyone can learn to ski. From the Bent Ski Shop in Freeland, I'm Sam Howell reporting for YPR.
We have to take a break, but when we come back, we'll go to a place where you have more than one option in choosing your next pet.
Don't go away, we'll be right back.
People, choosing a pet is a very big deal. Finding just the right kind, size, and type of pet can be mind-boggling. Jacquelyn Thomas went to a pet store in Saginaw to investigate some of the options. She has our story.
In the past, if you wanted a pet, you only had a few choices. A dog, a cat, or one of these fuzzy little friends. Nowadays, you have many other options.
Sugar gliders, prairie dogs, some of the smaller monkeys.
These animals may sound like cool pets to choose from, but some of them are a big responsibility, which you may not be ready for.
Most of them are going to have to be fed and watered every day. Some of them might need veterinary treatment on a yearly basis. Some animals, like monkeys, also need dental care.
So with all the new pets to choose from, how do you know which pet is right for you?
I think a good starter pet for kids all around would be a dwarf rabbit. You can let them run around the house, you can housebreak them, and they stay pretty much to their cage. Yeah, I would avoid anything like some of the larger reptiles, tarantulas, scorpions, and I would say that kids shouldn't get ferrets unless they're over 10 years of age. A sugar glider is a marsupial flying squirrel from Australia, New Guinea area. It likes to eat insects, yet it eats all kinds of fruits and berries. Hedgehogs are a pretty good pet. You can housebreak them like a cat. Then again, it's a solitary animal. You should only have one. They don't do well in pairs at all. Prairie dogs are pretty good pets too. If you get them at this age, they're extremely friendly. You can let them run around the home. Some people have been successful housebreaking them. They're pretty good pets. I think they're excellent pets. Alligators are a pet that, again, once you're friendly and gentle with them from the time they're 10 inches, when they get 4 or 5 feet long, they're extremely gentle yet. Chinchillas are a really nice pet, but a lot of problem with the chinchillas is that people don't realize that with fur-bearing animals like the chinchillas, the rabbits, and the ferrets, on a really, really warm day where it gets over 75, 80, 85 degrees in an apartment or a home, those animals will die from heat exhaustion.
Pets can be a lot of fun, but they are also a lot of work. If you're considering getting a pet, discuss it with your family and make sure everyone knows the responsibilities involved. From Ocean Odyssey in Saginaw, I'm Jacquelyn Thomas reporting for YPR.
Now that winter is here, finding something to do that takes you out of the cold can be very hard. Eric Lembach found a place where the action is fast and furious. He filed this report.
It's fast cars, competitive drivers, and an intense race. No, we're not talking about IndyCar racing. It's a little smaller. We're talking about radio-controlled car racing. At USA Raceway in Bridgeport, stadium racing season is underway. This raceway draws crowds from all over Michigan. Racers and spectators come from Flint, Lansing, Grand Rapids, Detroit, and even Canada. We talked to owner Dave Killingsworth to find out about radio-controlled car racing and what draws people to this sport.
Radio-controlled car racing can be difficult when you get up into the higher levels of racing. There's a lot of maintenance to the vehicles and so forth, but the beginning classes of it are pretty easy to do. Actually, just about anybody can do it with just a little practice. We have youngsters all the way from 4 to 5 years old, all the way up to 70 to 80-year-old people, and some of the real youngsters are some of the top drivers that we have because their reaction times are very quick, and you know, they play all those Sega and Nintendo games and stuff like that, and they can handle these RC cars very, very well. It's real intriguing for the youngsters to come out here and be able to whip their dad, you know, and that happens quite often.
Well, they always give me a hard time on the track. They like to beat their dad. That's the goal. We have a lot of fun. It's a good father-son time and safe sport, hobby, whatever you want to call it. We have a lot of fun up here.
When we came up here, I wanted to try to get into it, so my dad let me race his car. And so one day we went up to Riders, which is a hobby shop place, and he got me a car. I like it because it's very fun and exciting. It's very competitive and just plain old fun.
I like it because it's, you know, it's fun, and you get to get a ribbon or a trophy in which I can hang in my room.
But how do remote control cars compare to Nintendo?
I like the RC cars better because it's live. You get to actually drive the car.
What you can learn from this is the mechanics of an automobile, because everything that happens with these cars happens in real life on full-size cars. So every adjustment you make on these is just like a real car.
The thrill of racing fast cars can be enjoyed by all in this smaller version. From USA Raceways in Bridgeport, I'm Eric Lembach, reporting for YPR.
To get into RC racing, you can call the hobby shop in your area.
We have to take another break. But when we come back, we'll go to a school where some kids are learning about royalty.
Don't go away.
What it'd be like to be a knight of the round table, king or queen of your entire kingdom. John Simpkins did. So he went to the place where kids got to learn just that. He has our story.
Oh, this one's not done.
The food being prepared here is for a medieval feast. But this isn't just lunch. It started over a month ago as a high school project, and it gave older kids a chance to also teach what they were learning.
High school students developed a lesson plan, and then the younger kids signed up for the topics that the older kids had prepared.
The younger kids got a lot out of the project and had fun.
The high schoolers, they gave presentations and helped us learn about medieval times, and I learned about knighthood and royalty and what it would be like to live back then.
I learned a lot of things about the Middle Ages, and I learned how they ate and how they worked.
I learned a lot about the Middle Ages and King Arthur and Sword in the Stone and castles and knights and pages and stuff like that.
I always think that it's important for us to learn from each other, and that's something that we need to remember throughout our lives. So I think we learn from everybody around us.
One of the things they learned is that kids their age were called pages in medieval times. Being a page is the first step in becoming a knight, but they also served everyone else. As a part of the experience, the high schoolers were served a medieval banquet by pages from the city school. Since this is a historic-style meal, there are no forks or knives. Everything is eaten by hand. There was even entertainment, and everyone had a good time. Of course, as a reporter, the high school kids had to serve me. Thank you. And it's really good, too. I'm John Simpkins from the Perry Center in Grand Blanc, reporting for YPR.
Of all the things you have ever learned, what was the most important thing? That was the question we asked some kids in our YPR Question of the Week.
The most important thing I've ever learned was math because I want to be a pilot, and math is good for being a pilot.
The most important thing that I've learned in my life is that not to judge people before you meet them, because it can really let you down and not have as many friends as you could really want.
It's how to play sports, because if you play sports, you're usually physically fit, which is healthy.
The most important thing I've ever learned is probably math, because most jobs in the world today require math to do good in them.
I think reading is the most important thing that I've learned, because when you know how to read, you have access to everything you need to know.
The most important thing I've ever learned is probably to give everybody an opinion and don't leave anybody out if you're doing something.
The most important thing I've ever learned is learning how to slide tackle, because in soccer we have to slide tackle a lot.
The most important thing I've ever learned is how to talk.
Making decisions for myself, because if I let my parents and my friends make decisions for me, they would control me, and I don't think I'd have that much fun in life.
I think the most important thing I've ever learned is to be responsible and stay caught up in school when you're younger.
I think the most important thing I've ever learned was to treat people the way you want to be treated, because you could get a lot of friends if you do that.
If you have a suggestion for Question of the Week or a story idea for YPR, you can drop us a line. The best way is to send us a note and send it to Young People's Report, NBC 25, P.O. Box 250, Clio, Michigan 48420. You can also send us a fax or email us. You never know, you could be our next story.
It's time to take another break, but when we return, we'll look at some kids who are studying culture in a very different way.
Don't go away. Many people learn history and culture through books. One local class is learning in a more creative way. Carley Almasy explains.
Rhythmic drums, unusual dances, colorful clothing, and foreign lyrics. These are scenes from a faraway land, right? Well, not exactly. We're in Flint at Anderson Elementary School, and these students are learning about traditional African culture.
They need to learn the difference of one's culture, you know, because I think that they have not been taught the correct things that they need to know.
I like the program because it was very educational, and it told you about African Americans. And when you go to school, you usually don't see that.
All music has one thing in common, a beat, and this music is no exception.
It's important that they know that the drums are not just a thing to beat on and, you know, to dance with.
They use the drums to communicate. Like today we have telephones, but back then when Swahili people was living, they used drums to talk to other tribes. The drum is telling you what to do, like when you dance.
Learning the words to the music was a small challenge. The words are spoken in Swahili, which means the kids had to learn a foreign language.
What language were you dancing to?
Swahili! I learned that Swahili is a language from the motherland. I learned how to say mama and dad, brother and sister in Swahili.
I hope that they remember the words that they learned in the translation in Swahili.
Once the music starts, dancing is the next step. But in African culture, dancing is much more than moving to the music. Each step, or series of steps, has a meaning.
The dance that we did for you was called a rhythm that was called Ikebo. And what this is a celebrational rhythm, carrying the feet around them when they touch their taco means whatever you do in life shall follow you. Okay, the crossing of the legs meant you can make a mistake in life, but you can correct it. So we want our children to know that they're liable to make mistakes, but they have a person that they can go to and ask to help them along the way.
Throughout the year, we've learned about different cultures in different countries, and this is just another addition to the many countries and cultures that we've learned about, and I hope that they remember what they learned and that they develop an appreciation for the dance that they learned.
What I hope these students would gain from this program is to know that they are well worth being who they are, because we come in all different shape, colors, and body, and they're just as important as anyone else.
And that is a message delivered very well by the drum. From Anderson Elementary School in Flint, I'm Carley Almasy reporting from YPR.
Just about anywhere you go, you can find a newspaper reporting all the day's news and events. And as Tiffany Prout found out, putting the news to print is no small task.
When you pick up a newspaper, you can read stories from across the world. But what many don't realize is that the work involved in printing a newspaper like this one is no easy task.
Here in the newsroom, writers and photographers cover stories from across mid-Michigan. After all the stories are finished and the best pictures and graphics are scanned, page designers and editors lay them out on computers. Photos are scanned and converted into a half-tone image that is made up of a series of tiny dots.
I take care of all of the photos that come in, whether they be from our photographers or if they come in through satellite. We get them from all over the world. And I'll take them and I'll crop them and I'll make them so that they're able to go on our press and come out looking nice in the paper.
In this department, we put the ads and the news together to complete the page. The news comes out of the machine over here from the editorial department, and we just place it. It's like a puzzle.
A special camera then takes a picture of each page to make a negative.
This is the lens here, the film is inside. We crank the film down. This swings the vacuum board forward, holds the film in place, drilling a hole in it. And then this is just like pressing the flash button on your camera.
The negative is then placed onto special metal sheets called plates that are coated with a plastic that is sensitive to ultraviolet light. When the plate is exposed to ultraviolet light, it is then processed in a special machine. All the areas that were black on the negative are washed by the jets of hot water, leaving only the raised portion behind.
When they are ready to go to press, it all starts right here. Just one of these rolls weighs about 1,800 pounds, and they use about 45 of these each day.
Okay, Tiffany, now here is some plates that we have mounted onto the press for the daily run today. They'll pick up the ink from this rubber roller here to the plate, and as you can see, it's going onto the newsprint of today's paper.
Each year, the Flint Journal uses about 16,000 rolls of paper and 300,000 pounds of ink. For one paper, that's a lot. From the Flint Journal in Flint, I'm Tiffany Prout reporting for YPR.
That's all the time we have for this week. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great weekend.